What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? It is Jason Jani, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about some music hacks that have been put in play by Sam in I guess just trying to figure out how to manage music. So I wanted to share this conversation because Sam has shared a number of things with me over I don't know, the past couple of weeks as he's kind of like progressed through kind of like rescaling, reorganizing, shifting around a ton of content. So I thought, hey, let's jump on Zoom, let's share some content, and hopefully it could help someone who could be in the struggle of kind of fixing their music library, their music organization, trimming things down. And I'm just going to stop right there. And I think he's already on the screen. So say what's up, what's up, what's up to Sam, a supporter of the channel and just an all around good dude. Sam, why don't you introduce yourself and just tell the interwebs and the community a little bit about you and what you're doing and how we got here today.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thanks for the awesome intro, Jason. First of all, big fan of your channel. Love the content, whether you're a DJ, working on the field, whether you used to be a DJ, whether you're a professional and you love music. I think this is super relevant. It's super relevant that Jason took his time, not asking for anything, just believes in creating an impact for people. So it just shows the kind of person he is. And I think he creates a lot of value in the marketplace, and he obviously lives up to his value. And that's the reason that he's very successful with SU Event Group. So excited to see where they go. And I'm a big fan, even if I'm not doing the DJing thing actively anymore. So a little bit about me, we have a real estate team here in Kitchener-Waterloo, which is Ontario. We focus on helping people just building their wealth and learning about the equity they have in their home. So we actually had an information session. We tried a webinar. We're obviously not selling that. It's just free stuff that we'd like to help people. So we had a link that we sent Jason to which anybody like to check it out, they're welcome to do. Anyways, I actually met Jason through Instagram. Just sent him a message, super cool guy. And he just said, yeah, let's jump on a call. And here we are. So I guess what it kind of goes to show you is when you have a visualization of something or you just have a goal of something, just go out and, just go out and do it. Just go out and, reach that person and take value from that time and offer something you can do for them. And I trust that this will help some DJs that he has in his community. I love watching the content. I watch Nick Spinelli's content. I used to DJ, for an events DJ company, and I love the stuff. I love gear. I have GAS, which is gear acquisition syndrome for sure.
Mhm.
So definitely overcoming that. I don't know if it's going to be a constant challenge. So today, what we talked about in the last call was taking your music and kind of finding organizational hacks, which are super cool. I'm going to show you what I did. It's not the be all end all. I'm a very systems oriented person. I like things organized. And I think what I used to do was the way it was organized, and we'll show you, was just not a good systemized way to have smart crates in a way that they organize your data automatically. When you download new music, you know where to find it, you know the headings, you know how to rename the genres. I'll show you what I did. Shouldn't take more than a couple minutes, and then I trust that it'll help some people.
Yeah, well, first off, I appreciate the support of the channel and for Nick, myself, and everybody. I mean, I think we all share a common goal, and that's to just like push and elevate our community. So, like, getting on a Zoom with you to talk through some of the things that I kind of learned and even struggled with organizing my music stuff and kind of talking through it, kind of like it was helpful to me as well. So I appreciate, you offering this time of yours back to our community so that someone watching this can benefit from it. So I'm just excited to see where you've gone, where you've gotten
Yeah.
to, and where you're at, and we'll kind of take it from there.
Yeah, I think it'll help to piece together the great content you put away, because not everybody has actually put an organizational content out on YouTube. There's a lot of piecemeal content, old content about organization hacks, and putting all together in one video or the series of videos you did, I think is really good, because that was the first time I was actually able to understand and to start coming up with the right questions and use this to, do what I'm going to show you. So yeah. So my old crates used to look like this, where you'd see like, newer pop 40, pop 90s, 2000s, country folk. I wasn't as super detailed, like, house tech 2010, to 2011. Just, I wasn't my style. Everybody had a different style. what I kind of learned for me was, when you hear something, what does that sound like? Does it sound like 2000s hip hop, R&B? Do you group them? It's all subjective. I'll show you what I did. So this is the old way of doing it. I would download songs and I would drag them in, and everybody knows in Serato, when you drag them in, they get lost in the shuffle. Sometimes they're not in the crate. You have a duplicate, it's in the library, it's not in the crate. So what we did, which I'll show you here, we just actually added the added column. So I just went in and looked at this with Jason. So he helped me out quite a bit. We added these important headings. So for me, everybody has a different thing. I know Jason likes the BPM first. I like the title first, and then the artist and the BPM, whatever you like. That's totally cool. I added the added column, and then I added BPM, genre key, which is important, length, plays is huge, and then genre. So genre was big and added is big, and I'll explain that in a second. So what I did was I created Smartcrates for all these genres. So I'll go into hip hop, R&B, 90s. So these are the new ones. And I've done about 40 hours of work on this. So it's definitely not something you just do in like one night, or you're having some popcorn and all of a sudden you just finish your edit.
I
So
think I
yeah.
think I think that's an important thing to kind of like make mention to. And that is that things take a little bit of time. Like, this process is not something that should take years and years and years to do, but it is going to take some time. And obviously, you get what you put into it. So, the more time you take, not that you want to waste time, but the more time you take, the more granular you can get in kind of like, organizing this content. It just, the more time you invest, the better off you are. It all doesn't have to be done at one time. I know, like, one thing I mentioned to Sam when we got on our call is like, I try to do things as I'm working through it. If I'm starting to work on a project or an event and I do a bunch of stuff, I might create a folder right there and I start organizing that way. And then, like, I'll revisit that in the future. So I want to interject and kind of mention that, because I think that's one thing that people are always looking for, that lightning bolt magic pill. It's going to happen immediately. And it just doesn't exist in this world, especially if you have a lot of content to kind of like find your way through. So I want to just stop you there and say that, and then we'll jump back in and carry
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, and anybody too should watch all of Jason's videos on the music organization, Flatten and Library, all the stuff that he already went through. I think that's huge. And yeah, and like you said, it's someone who does it consistently. Even those little actions over time are better than someone going to the gym one day in a month and doing like 1,000 push-ups. So, anyways, so this one here, I renamed it to the same thing. So I renamed the genre to whatever the crate is. So when I went through all my music, I just went through all the crates that I had right now in here. So, for example, here was old way of crates. So 90s, all this stuff. And again, everybody's got their own way of doing it. Then I went through and I put the added columns in, and I put an added and then genre. And so I can go in and actually name them, right? So Jason showed me a cool trick. If I go like this, and then I double click this, so turn my library on. Oops, sorry, one sec here. Library on, protect library, turn that on. I can actually go ahead and just rename this, and it'll rename all of them. So I'm not going to do that. So what that did was that'll end up putting it into this crate. So now this crate, as I'm going through my entire library, it's all renaming to the hip hop 90s, hip hop R&B 90s. It's all in here. Now, one cool hack that actually I don't think Jason mentioned, I kind of did it and I thought this was cool, is I have an acapella out and in crate, right? And this one has any keyword that has ACC. So if I had ACAP, acapella out or in, I just named it to ACC in or out. So now everything that's ACC is an acapella in or out. So now I can start doing mashups, which I love to do. I watch, also DJ Jordan Lee, I think it is, amazing DJ. And so he talked like, you have this, you can make mashups now. You go in here, you got acapella ins, you can organize them by BPM, and then you can do the key thing here where you do the command, right? It says a key. So I like that too. And then you can kind of do it that way. So same thing, like I'm a New Jack Swing. I was born in 82, so I really love like New Jack Swing and like that stuff is my jam, right? Like if you look at Call Me a Mac, I think I've played it 60 times. So
Yeah,
like
wow, that's awesome.
that's like what that's like that's a song that maybe people sleep on. I love that, absolutely love that song, man. So um yeah, so like it shows you when I added it, how many plays. So I just named them New Jack Swing. So if I heard something, I go in, I got the reloop ready as well. I can mess around with stuff and play with it. I can go in. So if I go in here, let's say I go into an acapellas, or let's say a rock. This one is not a good example because this was redone in something, but reggae Latino. There's stuff. I have a blends mashup one, and then I renamed. So for example, I have a crate that has like transitions and like loops, like party breaks. So I just put that to DJ Tools party breaks. So then it automatically goes into this crate, DJ Tools party breaks, which is right here somewhere, right here.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things that I've started to do over time is, as I like kind of got and whittled down my library and I came up with different naming conventions, whether it was coloring tracks or using the term diamonds or using icons or emojis in the descriptives, whether it be the comments or the genre. I think one of the things that I like, I started to do, where if I had let's just say a hip hop party break, but it was more twerky and it was like a throwback, like in the genre tab, I might have the crate it belongs in party breaks, 90s or whatever. But then I might add a comma, and then add like party breaks, hip hop, party breaks, favorites, or party breaks, diamonds. I always use the word diamonds as like my diamond tracks. Those are like the staples in a lot of my sets. And like, you can kind of make of your Serato and your music organization like how your brain works best. I think that's the key that kind of Sam mentioned before, in terms of like the structure and the layout of the actual folders and the crates themselves. Everyone has a different way. Everyone thinks differently. So like, you have to use what comes easily to you and how you think, how your brain works when you're thinking about music and when you're actually playing, to recall tracks, because things can easily get lost in the shuffle or lost in the library if they're not, input correctly. And anytime you're working or you're, going through your music, or you're sitting watching TV and you just happen to have your music library open, you can kind of go through and you can, identify names of songs. One thing that I did, kind of taking the next step after what Sam is showing you here, after you go through your crates and you name them the titles that of where you want them to be in a smart crate universe, is I actually identified the 15,000 songs that were left on my hard drive that didn't have a genre assigned to it.
Yeah,
And then
actually,
I start to hack at that folder every so often, so that
Mhm.
that number comes down. And if I add new content and it goes up, it's like I'm always playing and fighting that one column. But because smart crates are so powerful and they're so effective and they're such a great way to cleanly keep your music kind of like universe organized, I think it's super important, because as you update your tracks, they're being assigned to the smart crate folder that's working and stuff like that. And I just think that's like a gold star. It's a gold lesson. It's a really, really, really powerful tool that Serato placed in their software, that every DJ can benefit from, that uses Serato.
Yeah, I love that. And to your point too, like you said, that's what I'm actually doing now. So there's a ton of stuff that like I can like there was missing stuff, so I got to go back and clean that up, duplicates that be there. So for example, like I organize these ones, you can see DJ tools, there's some stuff that's named differently. So I'm going to go back, look for any duplicates or missing tracks, then rename them. So for me, and everybody's different. So like for Jason, he's very refined in what he has a lot of music. He has a lot of individual genres. For me, I had Moombah Tom twerk, and then I had, hip hop, R&B, 2000s, and then 90s. So for me, that was enough because I could go in and get a certain vibe. And then New Jack Swing. Everybody has a different way of how they think and what Jason said in organizing it. So for this one, like uh, I could look at this, You Want to Be Cool, and it could be a remix. Maybe it's more dancey. I would put in dance. I would rename that genre to dance house newer, or dance house 90s 2000s. That's kind of what I did. And that as you're going through and you're just organizing, so let's say there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been named yet. So I'll just give you an example here. So like if I go up,
I love seeing those Crooklyn Clan edits from way back when. That's
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
cool
I know.
stuff.
Yeah, there's some really really good stuff there. And I think actually Jason definitely recommend if you ever had a Patreon or something, I think that'd be amazing. People would be all over that. So the choice is yours, right? Black Sheep, right? So I'm not going to play it. You get the idea. So I could go in here and be like, okay, this is hip hop, R&B, 90s. So now it's going to go right into that crate. So I'm just cleaning this up, and that's all I've been doing. It's like and even whether it's in real estate or business or even events, it's that mundane activities over time that lead to big results. And like these are not fun activities. I ended up starting to like it a little more because I started to see the reward, and it actually made library management more pleasurable because I before it was like an endless pit. I wasn't working smart. I just keep dragging stuff in. I had all these folders that weren't flattened. It was just absolute mess. And it's like getting, I'm just thinking of like getting a vacuum in a hoarding house. Like, you're not good. You got to clean up everything. You got, you got to clean the carpets. You got to do everything. You got to actually clean the house properly before you even, vacuums kind of thing. So that was interesting for me, like organizing it this way. And still cleaning up and finding things that weren't in the right spot, because in Serato, you drag them, you don't know if you dragged them, you drag them again. It just creates a lot of challenges there. So that's something I did there. And then with new tracks, so if I went in here and I added a whole bunch of new tracks, I can go in October 14th, last time I added, and I already renamed them. So when I add tracks, I just drag them into the master folder in my library, which is like music or whatever it is for you. And then I did follow a tutorial with Dropbox with DJ Drew, I think, from Crate Hackers. He talked about that, so that was pretty cool. And then when you add new tracks in, you just go in here and you go to add it, and you're okay. These are renamed differently. Okay, I added 10 hip hop R&B new. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna rename them to hip hop R&B newer. So you can see like Freaky Young Rome or whatever. West Up. This is West Coast. So easy for me because I like to download late night record pool. I download old stuff, old remixes. So not always new tracks like that I download. So I trust that helps. I mean, I got a ton of value from you, and it really helped me organize like how I'm going to make this like a beautiful master list of just mastery.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest things I would advise anyone into doing this whole process of kind of organizing content is one, flatten your folders. I think that's the biggest thing. And there's a whole video on it. I'll include a link up above or at the end of this video on how to kind of like start the process on music management. After you flatten your folders, you remove the duplicates. I think that is super important. And then you can take it up another notch and remove all the low quality bit rate kind of uh, songs and files from your library. Take a picture of what those are that you're removing so that if any of them fall into something that you would commonly or often play, you can go and re-scoop them up with a better quality download, as long as it's not like a super exclusive like bootleg that just doesn't exist or whatnot. And then the process of organization is somewhat overwhelming, but with tools like Crate Hackers available to everyone now at such a low cost, that can get you kind of like the jump start into getting things into the right areas for the most part. And then it's like you get to this point where it's like, okay, let me get through all the other stuff now. And how do I clean this up in such a way where I love looking at this and seeing like all the Smartcrates, which I personally learned from Drew Pierce, who's a DMX family member of mine, also like someone that is I consider to be a very good friend of mine. And he got me started not just on Smartcrates, but using Dropbox as the infrastructure to house my content, so that if I'm anywhere at any time, I can access these folders. And the cool thing that Sam did here is he left the older folders still structurally intact on his hard drive. So if he gets stumped or he's not sure, or until he's ready to like make that cut and sever that cord, he still has those as go-tos in the event that he's playing out somewhere and he's not going to get lost or like get stumped. I think that's super, super, super important to do. Just because you're organizing your music library doesn't need to be like an all or nothing thing. Like there is kind of this limbo period where you might be in the process of organizing, and you still have all of your old content as well, and you're kind of like fighting through two paths, and then eventually you're going to have to get to the point where it's like, okay, well, I know I have everything in here, everything's been labeled, and if not, it's identified, I have it saved to another folder, and it's kind of like a go-to if I need it, and then like get rid of all the stuff and then just work with your Smartcrates, which essentially is like how the iTunes platform would work. If you were to put things in crates, it would automatically like update your Serato, but this actually scans your entire library and puts all the call outs based on the rules that you designate as the artist, as the talent, as the DJ into the platform. So like you can change your rules a little bit as well if you need to, and just look for certain information in certain places, you know, like the ACC kind of like folder is great. So I produce a lot of edits, and I have like an acapella only universe of content. I have my acapella in universe. I have an acapella out universe. I have instrumental ins and instrumental outs, where essentially it's like half the song doesn't exist. It's just the instrumental version, and then it cuts in at the chorus. So like if I'm doing like blends real time, like I have a universe of content for that. And then of course instrumental only. So like if I'm doing blends like real time, I can go into that folder and have fun. Also, I use that as like a cool burner folder if I'm ever doing an event and I need like background music and I don't need to like crush the dance floor. It's like I could play like I don't know, an Ascension by Maxwell, but it's just the instrumental version, which is pretty groovy and pretty cool. So just ideas all the way around. And again, the purpose of sharing this conversation with the community here on YouTube is just that, you know, this is someone who has, you know, followed the process of some of the earlier videos. And I think I should update some of those videos too, just to even status where I'm at, and how he put these thoughts and how he put these processes in play and how it's benefited him to this point. I mean, if you look at this, he's like well on his way to being, you know, super organized. So and why that matters is because you become more efficient, you become faster, you become, you know, more mindful of stuff that could easily get buried in your library, making you a better DJ when you pull out the gems that, you know, are not top of mind, because everyone goes there at some point in life where if you're not prepared, you know, like you have go-to crates that have everything in them that you can kind of find through or dig through. And obviously the more time you invest in this, the better those crates and the more kind of strategic those crates are going to be. And they're just awesome all the way around. So this is really good stuff, Sam. Really good
Yeah,
stuff.
thanks, Jason. I mean, yeah, putting it in action, right? Like without the action steps, nothing's really going to happen. You have great content out, you know, what's going to happen to put it in action, and it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So these crates, there might be refining. I might go back in once I organize all the loose stuff in all the libraries. I might, you know, make an action plan, and there's a really cool project management tool we use in Millstate called Asana, which is like a task management thing. So I could do something like that, or have a whiteboard or whatever, and just say, okay, like now I'm going to go in, I'm going to do all the library that's unorganized, and then I'm going to go ahead and look at any missing tracks and delete any duplicates through what you mentioned, which I kind of did. At the same time, stuff that's lost that didn't get in, and then really just making sure I can even go back in those crates and make sure that if there's duplicates, maybe put them in an unsorted folder if I'm not ready. Like you said, not deleting those old crates. I was very mindful about that, because if you delete those old crates and then you're done. So I'm just not quite ready to trust it 150%. I think just having this is a good start. So yeah.
So good. Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate this. And if you're someone that is watching, let me just change this back to our how do I do this side by side mode? Let's go like this. Then let's break this down so we can kind of like break this out. But if you are someone that is watching the channel and you're struggling with kind of organizing your music, and you'd like to throw out a question or a comment to get some clarity on something that maybe is confusing or a point that you're stumped at, do so in the comments down below. Both myself, Sam will watch them, and he'll add anything he can to the conversation. I definitely will. And in addition to that, if you're not following or connected to Sam, I want to put Sam's information. I know he does a lot on Instagram and whatnot. We'll put his information in the description field down below, as well as that the program that you shared earlier, the link that you had sent over to me, we should put that in there. If anyone has some time and wants to just check out something very cool and something that can help you in a different way, we'll include that link in the description field down below. And really, this whole session is meant to just help you. So hopefully you found value in it. And if you did, I'd be grateful. And Sam would be grateful if you smash a quick thumbs up for us. At the end of this video, I'm going to throw some links in about the music management series that I started a couple of months ago, which I think I need to pick back up and get back into, just to let you know where I'm at and how I've been doing. I've continued to kind of like move my music library around in a number of different ways, and I'd love to share that with you guys. But if you have questions, comments, not sure about anything, you want to say what's up to Sam or myself, just anything at all, throw it in the comments field down below. Make sure that you connect with Sam on IG and show him some love for his help with this video and sharing his personal music collection with all of us here on the channel, which is...
Yes, now you know that I played Call Me Max 60 times, right?
Yeah, I might hold that over you next time I get an Instagram message. You might
never forget that.
You might have to play that in the background as the messages come in. But I appreciate this. I'm grateful for your support and this information. And I can say that on behalf of anyone watching this video up to this point. I'm sure it's been helpful to them, and more content dripping right here on the days, weeks, and months ahead. I think we'll re-link with Sam in maybe a month or two, just to see how much further he's gotten into the overall process. And then maybe we'll continue the music management series once again as things start to slow down after this crazy COVID rush of events is starting to dwindle down. We'll get back into that, because this is the kind of stuff you need to do around the holidays when things settle down a little bit and events kind of slow. This is the kind of stuff that you can really use your time effectively to make you a better DJ in the time ahead as things build out and as we kind of continue on, and use the downtime that we have when you're not in performance mode to really optimize your music, your prep, and everything. I don't know, Sam, if you want to add anything else to our closeout before I hit stop on this, but I'd be open to anything that you want to say to anyone. I mean, I appreciate everything, but anything you want to offer?
Yeah, I think you said it really great. I mean, we definitely, I'm sure it'll impact someone that's in that journey of music, collection and organization, and going through that and actually taking the steps to do it. And I think you'll actually enjoy it more once you take that time and be okay with just taking those little steps, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. This is what this was. And having a vision and trusting your own instinct. We'll get this all the time, right? People will make a decision and then they'll question themselves and they'll go ask their buddy who doesn't know anything about music, or I ask the expert, right? And for that reason, trust yourself and create something that's good for you, and don't doubt it. Just listen to that voice inside and go with it.
Really, really, really super solid advice and perspective. So thank you for sharing that with everybody. Information on Sam, his program, and all that stuff in the description field down below. And if you have questions, throw it in the comments. We'll be sure to jump on them, answer anything we possibly can. And hopefully this helped you out. I appreciate you guys watching. On behalf of Sam and myself, thanks for kicking it with us for a little while. Definitely appreciate it, and more to come.
Jason.
Jason, Jani.